Okay, so welcome to another edition of Better Know CloudSpoker. This month I'm with William Cheung from Toronto. Hey William, how you doing?
Hey Jeff, I'm doing good.
Good. Well, if guys you don't know him, William Cheung's been competing for a while. He's actually done quite well. 5 firsts, 3 seconds. He's done really well on some really cool projects. I see he's got 7 active right now. Some box stuff, DocuSign, some interesting stuff. So William, thanks for taking the time to hop on with us.
Sure, no problem.
So I just want to get some, ask you a little bit about yourself. So I'm sure people are, want to put a name to a face on people on CloudSpokes who are doing stuff. So what's your background? How did you get started, in coding?
I actually graduated from electrical engineering in Toronto here in 1990. So I don't really have a comp sci background, but between second and third year, we had an opportunity to go on a co-op term, like in the States you call it internship, I guess. Here in Canada, we call it like co-op term. So I did that for at the IBM lab here in Toronto.
Okay.
For 16 months between second and third year. And I did software testing there. But the interesting about that was I wasn't testing an actual product. I was testing a library, like an API. So I had to pick up C programming back in like 1987. At that time, at IBM, they were just using they're just getting into using C. So that was like my really first deep involvement in programming.
Okay.
And after I graduated, 1990, decided that I didn't want to go into engineering, like power engineering or microwave systems, etc. And I decided to do software, and I've been programming ever since then.
Yeah, it's great because you do a lot of the CloudSpokes challenges, and we always love it when you have videos because your videos are always awesome. They're like, especially the Ninja Badge one was great because we actually took that and put that right into production for our Badgeville integration. And just if anybody hasn't watched that video yet, it's just really entertaining and great how you how you actually demo your software. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I like to put some of my personality into these contest submissions. So yeah, the Ninja Badge exchange was something I enjoy doing,
yeah.
And I also enjoyed making the video about it.
So it seems like you do a lot of Grail stuff. Is that what you primarily work in, or what languages do you work in the most, and something like that?
I'm a Java developer, but at my last gig, I did use Grails for about half a year. And I find Groovy to be a cleaner language than Java. It's not as verbose and it's more declarative. So I actually prefer using Groovy if I could, and using the Grails framework as opposed to using Spring with Java. But for my day job, I'm using Java and Spring.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at the Play framework. Have you seen Play at all?
Yeah, I actually use Play for one of the challenges about the FTP on the App Engine.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a Groovy front end also. But I think they've switched to something besides Groovy now. They have a new version just came out. But yeah, I like the Groovy stuff also. It's much less both. So what technologies out there that really excites you? Node or Redis or what do you really think is interesting right now to look at?
Node is interesting, but I'm more interested in big data technologies like Hadoop. I've been playing around with Hadoop.
That's funny, playing with Hadoop. You don't hear that very often.
Yeah, playing with Hadoop and trying to get it work on Windows, which took me some time. But I have it running on Windows and doing some analysis in my part time, on environmental data from the government, like USGS. They collect data like CO2 emissions, that type of thing, and running some Hadoop MapReduce jobs on that data. See if I can come with some interesting conclusions.
That's interesting because we have one of the guys who works here was pointing us to some really large data sets to do that too, some public data sets. I can't remember the site that hosts those, but we were thinking about using those same things, like getting a big data set and just crunching it and find out what we come out with it, whether it's what music developers like the best, or atmospheric data. We weren't quite sure, but we thought some neat things would be to use those kind of data sets. So
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like like trying to like, come up with like some patterns of this big data. And one of the challenges I did for CloudSpokes was the Google Prediction API challenge, the one about the opportunity
Yeah.
close. Yeah, so like that type of technology interests me the most.
Yeah. So what? Since you did say that you are, more or less self-taught, what advice would you give to somebody who's just starting out or just knows a certain language, and maybe they're just they're a VB developer or a PHP developer? What kind of advice would you give them?
I think experience really helps in just going through all the wars, all the battles. I've worked for 10 different companies in the last 22 years, and I've gone through so many different projects, so many different technologies and frameworks, and work on different teams and Agile and Waterfall and experience. There's nothing to replace experience. That's what I found, and fortunately, I've had good mentors as well. So the mentorship really helps in getting me like on the best practices, like clean code, for example.
So would you say that CloudSpokes is a good place to go and get some experience with different technologies?
Definitely, because there's motivation. There's motivation in for me at least for with the glory and also the money involved. Yeah, so it gives me a good excuse if I have time. Like if my wife lets me have time, then I can work on these projects and maybe get some recognition and get some cash.
Yeah, that's what one of my questions was. Why do you compete? And you said kind of it's the fame, it's the money. You've already got the women part, so it's not the women part. So it must be the fame and the fortune, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's really great to be recognized, like to have a blog post on CloudSpokes about me and like pointing people to my video, for example. Yeah, that gives me a big high, like a natural high that I can't get from work.
Yeah, yep. I think we find more and more people who have day jobs and they'll do this in the side or on the weekends or whenever their wife lets them do it, and they do it because it's not their mundane job. They can say, hey, that looks really cool. I could use the Google Prediction API, and I could figure out some cool thing that I'm not really doing at work. And I think that's a big advantage for them.
Yeah. For me, like I'm really into the server side frameworks and APIs. So I find with CloudSpokes, like there are so many different APIs I can use in the challenges and do mashups. So that that really interests me.
Yeah. So what is it about CloudSpokes? Just your thoughts in general. What would you like to change? What did you see different? Would you like to see different things on the site? Any challenges or features, anything that you would like to see different?
Well, from a selfish point of view, I would like to see more server-side challenges, and because I'm not really keen on client-side code like JavaScript frameworks, that type of thing. I'm interested in APIs and server-side frameworks and cloud environments. So more of those challenges, like speaking selfishly, would be more appealing to me.
Okay, yeah, we actually are going to start doing a lot more stuff now because we're going to start implementing badges, and then we can do a lot of smaller challenges for badges. That's one thing we're going to start ramping up pretty soon. So okay,
yeah.
So let me ask you this. So now kind of onto the fun questions. So if you weren't doing technology, if this wasn't your job, what would you be doing? What other job would you have if you could do anything?
I'd probably be studying classical civilizations because in high school I took Latin, and I really love Latin. I love reading Latin poems, like Virgil and Catullus, those old dead guys, and studying about the ancient civilizations like Minoan, the ancient Greeks, the Romans.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool. All right, so my last question is: so who would you rather have dinner with and why? Steve Jobs, let's say he's still alive, the guy who invented the clapper, Halle Berry, or the guy who does the Old Spice commercials?
Halle Berry, actually. Yeah.
That's kind of a no-brainer, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time, William. Anything you want to say from Toronto?
It's windy in Toronto, but it's sunny, so I'm looking forward to the long weekend, and I hope everyone is also.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time and look forward to seeing more CloudSpokes challenges.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.